When your child is diagnosed with type 1, you don't just become a caregiver. You become the backup pancreas, the planner, the night watch, the one who always knows the numbers. Somewhere along the way, you stopped asking who you are outside of all of that.
This episode isn't about doing more. It's about remembering who you were and who you still are, under all the alarms, the data, and the constant responsibility. Today we're talking about identity loss, quiet grief, and the permission to exist outside of diabetes care without guilt.
Welcome to Raising Type 1, a podcast for parents navigating life with type 1 diabetes.
Honest conversations, shared experiences, and reminders that you don't have to do this alone. I'm really glad we're recording this specific episode this week, and ironically, we've had this episode planned for a couple of weeks now, but I just really resonate with this right now because, to be totally transparent, we just had a really difficult diabetes week. I accidentally was giving Wells a food item that was one of his, I don't want to say trigger foods, but basically contained an ingredient that he can't tolerate with his CSID diagnosis. And because of that, it was subsequently absolutely destroying his blood sugars. And so I literally feel like I have been putting out fires all week long. Every 30 minutes, I'm I fix one thing and then there's another problem. I fix that problem and then there's another one, blood sugar wise, whether it's low blood sugars, high blood sugars. Wells had his first baseball practice this week, and literally he spent the whole practice at 250, which is absurdly high for him. And so I just, I feel like during these weeks when it feels like back to back, nonstop troubleshooting and problem solving are the times where I feel the most like I have lost myself, and I feel like I'm 100% only pancreas. Only pancreas. Just luckily I have pancreas.
Nuns people, only pancreas.
Yeah, luckily I have pancreas.
Very nice, great success.
So I think it's just because, when these rough weeks are occurring and it's all you're doing 24/7, you're not sleeping because you're dealing with diabetes. You're spending all day, every day trying to kind of troubleshoot, what is going so wrong and how can I fix it? It swallows me whole, for lack of a better term. It just consumes me. And then I'm who the hell even am I anymore? Besides this, I don't feel like I'm having time to even parent my other kids. I feel like I'm not having any time to myself to regroup or refocus or just have a minute alone, because I'm constantly going back to trying to figure out what's going on with his blood sugars and how to stabilize him. And big picture, I think, this going on for a prolonged amount of time, big picture of years of diagnosis, it is easy to succumb to the fact that, you feel like diabetes and being a caretaker is your whole identity.
I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, just for the fact of that diabetes becomes your personality. Yes. I know we have both personally been victims of doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, there's so much truth to what you said. I think we've also kind of been having, some rough days this week, and it's hard to pull yourself back out of those bad days and look at it and not feel like you're just failing.
Yeah.
And that's a harsh thing to say, because obviously we're not failing. But for people who are naturally so hard on themselves, I know that both of us are.
Yeah, very type A.
Very type A, don't try to force us to give up control, because we'll go down fighting. It's not going to happen. So I think with that being said, it's very hard for us to kind of detach ourselves from diabetes and not place all of the blame on ourselves. And that's kind of where the whole losing yourself comes in, because you forget that you're, like you said, anything but a pancreas. There's no time for friends. There's no time for things that bring you joy. Hell, if you even remember the things that brought you joy before diagnosis. And yeah. I know that's something I personally struggle with.
Oh yeah, me too.
But I think it's important to remember, diagnosis doesn't just change your child's life. It reshapes yours too.
Yeah, for sure. It's something I think I say this every episode, but I'm actively working on in therapy, because it is really, really hard to separate yourself and say, yes, this is part of my life, but it's not my whole life. And it needs to not be my whole life, because what kind of life is that to live? And what kind of childhood does that give our kids? Like, I want to enjoy, I don't know about you, like, I want to enjoy motherhood. Like, I want to enjoy these moments with my kids, and I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I spent all of my time worrying about Wild's blood sugar. Like, I don't want that to be how I remember motherhood.
When was the first time you realized, I don't know who I am outside of this?
Honestly, I don't know that I could pinpoint like an exact specific first time. I think it's oddly enough gotten harder for me as time has gone on, which is interesting because you would think it would be like harder initially when it's new. But I think like as time has gone on, I've just in a way accepted it, which is sad to say, but like almost stopped trying to fight it and just accepted that like this is going to be a huge part of my life. And so there have been times where I'm like, no, I'm gonna, I love like makeup and skincare and fashion. It's like something that I love and did before he was diagnosed with diabetes. And so there have been times where I'm like, no, I'm going to get back. I'm going to do a skincare routine every night and every morning because it's like 10 minutes that I get to myself just for me. And that's something that I love that doesn't benefit anybody else. Like, it doesn't benefit any of my other kids. It doesn't benefit my husband. It doesn't benefit my pets. It just benefits me, and I do it because I love it. And it's easy for me to do that when Wells is having a streak of like good blood sugar days or weeks, because I'm like, oh yeah, like this does feel really good. And I have the mental space, I guess, if you will, to prioritize that. But when Wells is not having good blood sugar, when really that's probably the time I should be prioritizing taking that time for myself, I just can't. And I let it, like I was saying, like just kind of consume me, that all I am is pancreas. and so I don't know, like, I don't know that I've had a single first time where I was like, I don't know who I am outside of this, but certainly has been kind of a slow realization over time since he was diagnosed.
I feel that. I feel like as more time has gone on, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all are what, 2 years and 3 or 4 months after diagnosis?
Oh gosh, we're like
5?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
He was diagnosed in November of 2023.
We're, pushing the 4-year mark here, and I feel like as more time goes on, the lines get way more blurred between diabetes and between who you are as a person.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even really remember who I was at this point before diagnosis. I want to say that I was like this great, happy go lucky person. Like, I was definitely still type A. I was definitely still a riddled ball of anxiety, but I honestly at this point, like, I just think that everything has just blended together, and I don't know honestly if I will ever be able to like remember or recognize or get back the person that I truly was before diagnosis, because you are changed forever to some degree.
Yeah. You also too, because Pax is your oldest and he was diagnosed right after he turned 3, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get a whole lot of motherhood before or without diabetes.
No.
And so I think too, like, that probably doesn't help with the line blurring thing for you, because you didn't get a whole lot of time to just be mom. You got barely 3 years of just mom, and then it became mom and pancreas.
And then also still trying to figure out how to mom my 18-month-old
Yeah.
at the time. And it's like still, not freshly postpartum, but you know what I mean? Still within those good 2 to 3 years of postpartum that you kind of struggle with your identity and all of this other stuff. And I don't want to say it's easier to, let's say, get your pink back after having a baby, but then you throw a type 1 diagnosis on top of that, and it's like, actually just go yourself.
Ain't getting that pink back,
no, you definitely
bitch.
ain't finding that pink anywhere. We took that for good.
And I think that's where you and I have had somewhat different experiences too, with like, I mean, obviously with motherhood, because Wells is my youngest, and so when he was diagnosed, I had gotten 10 years of motherhood without any chronic illness
of normal motherhood.
And like the kind of mom I was before diabetes, we were very spontaneous, probably isn't the right word, but I loved to be out of the house with the kids. We rarely just spent a whole day inside. Like, we would go do things, go to the park, go to play dates, go to mom meetups. I would literally like pack all the kids up and take them to the mall for fun. Like, we would just go do. And diabetes has very much changed that about me. And it's like a very clear, like, I was that way before and I am not that way now. And you mentioned something about wanting to get your pink back or whatever. And when Wells was diagnosed, because he had just turned 3, and that was the first time in literally 10 years that I had not been pregnant or had a really little child, like a baby. And so I had literally just started prioritizing myself again from the trenches of having little kids, and 4 of them at that. And so I was going to the gym like 5 days a week, and I would take Wells to the gym childcare or whatever. And I was really prioritizing my diet. Like I was eating really clean, and I was like, I don't know, it's just prioritizing myself. And as, I don't know, like selfish or vain as it sounds, the way I looked for the first time in a really long time, because I knew I was done having kids and stuff like that. And so when he got diagnosed, I kind of feel like I gave up on all of it. And I hate that. And maybe I shouldn't have, but at the same time, trying to think about sending Wells into the gym childcare so that I could go prioritize myself for an hour while we were going through this really huge thing that felt like it was taking up so much space. Not only did that feel impossible, but it also made me feel so guilty for even thinking about it. Like, here he is going through this crazy life-altering thing. Here I am going through this crazy life-altering thing. And it just made me feel like, who the hell do I think I am to even think about wanting to look a certain way at this point, or like wanting to take time out of my week or let him be away from me and in somebody else's care so that I can prioritize myself? Like, that sounds so backwards. And so I just kind of let all of that fall to the wayside because it just didn't feel like it could be or should be a priority at that point. And I never went back. And I still feel like that. Like, I still don't feel like I could show up to the gym and leave him in the gym childcare and go work out. Like, I don't think I could have, the audacity is not the right word.
The audacity.
But it feels like that though. Like, it feels like I wouldn't have the audacity to do that because it feels wrong.
Yeah. I think what some people could possibly view as the more superficial things, like the things that don't benefit anybody else but you. You know, it's always a mixed bag of society thinking like, oh, you need to take more time for yourself because you're doing this really, really hard thing. And you know what I mean? Just leave him with somebody. Like, it's not that hard. But then you've got the people that are like, you dare to even think about yourself for a second in the day when your child is going through this, you know what I mean, life altering thing. And it does make you feel like, and it's mom guilt, but amplify that by 100. Like, it's so much worse when, yes, all moms are responsible for keeping their kids alive, but like, it is so much different when you have a medically complex child. Yeah.
It kind of, and I compare caring for a child with type 1 diabetes to the newborn phase a lot to people. Like, I have explained it that way to my therapist multiple times, and I still stand by that, because when you have a newborn at home, you're like, I'm not leaving them. I'm not leaving this newborn with especially with just anybody. Like, no. Maybe your spouse, maybe their dad, maybe. Right? But like, not grandparents at that point, not a babysitter. No. God, definitely probably not a babysitter. Like,
absolutely not.
In the true newborn phase. And so I compare it to the same feeling that you would probably have when somebody was like, why aren't you prioritizing yourself when you have a newborn? To me, is the way it feels for somebody to ask, why aren't you prioritizing yourself when you have a child with type 1 diabetes? Like, I would compare the two things. I think it feels very similarly because you're like, oh my gosh, I have this human that is so dependent on me for everything they need, you know, diabetes wise. You are literally playing the function of an organ in their body. And you want me to step away from that and truly detach from that to prioritize myself? Yeah. It just feels like so backwards. But diabetes isn't the newborn phase because there's no end.
There is no end. And I feel like when you finally get that like type 1 diagnosis, to some degree, you stop living for yourself and you only now live quite literally to keep your child alive. Yeah. And I feel like that after a while, after you get past that shock of diagnosis and you get into a routine and it, you know, becomes your new normal, that can kind of leave you wanting more. Like, you want more out of life.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things that, God, how many times am I going to say, I talk about this in therapy?
We go to therapy a lot, guys.
I do. And I And it helps me a lot. Like, it really does, because she's really able to help me reframe things. Sometimes it's really easy for my brain to spiral, especially when it's been like a hard diabetes week or whatever, and I'm just already really kind of in a rut, if you will. So yeah, I was in therapy today and it's fresh on my mind, but I was going to say that one of the things she has suggested to me is being able to get to a point where I can truly have a moment away, like a break of some kind, where I'm not checking the follow app. I'm like turning off alerts on my phone. And one of her things was like, we can have basically like a fail safe that you're leaving him with your husband. And if things are not going well or whatever for 15 minutes or more, he calls you and breaks the glass door and says, hey, like, I need you to help out, or this is what's going on, whatever, but only under those circumstances. And if not that, then you take an hour, 30 minutes, like literally anything where diabetes is not in front of your face and not at the forefront of your mind. And so it's something we're working towards, but I'm not there yet. Like, I'm not ready to do that. And part of it is guilt. Part of it is this like type A control and not wanting to let go of that. But one of the things that she said to me was basically like, you know, you can love Wells so much and you can give him 110% all the time and still take that time for yourself. Like, you're not, it doesn't negate all the incredible things that you're doing 24/7 to take care of him by saying, hey, I need space from this very all-consuming thing.
I love that she kind of reframed it that way for you. I will confess and say that I was using all of my willpower to control my eye twitch when you were saying completely step away from diabetes. And
I know.
Turn the alerts off on your phone. And I'm like, couldn't be me, honestly.
I know. That's when she was telling me that, because I was like, yeah, I go out sometimes. Like, you and I will go to grab dinner or go to Target or we'll go get our nails done or whatever. However, that follow app, it do be on my phone. It
do be open
and it
for
do
a
be
decent
open,
amount of time.
And it do be on my watch and on my CarPlay.
And also, let's not forget that we have like some sort of glucose device displaying their active blood sugars in probably almost every room of our house.
Yeah. And so, like I said, we're not there yet.
Very far from it, actually.
But I do understand her point of saying, like, is it really a break for you if it's still in front of your face? If you're still managing it from afar, if you're still walking the aisles of Target and texting your husband, hey, treat this low, hey, poke his finger, tell me what the number is, I'll tell you how much insulin to give, hey, do this for dinner, dose this for dinner, do this much of an extended, hey, can you check his finger, it looks like he's dropping, what's he doing, is he running, is he on the trampoline? Is it a break? No. You're walking the aisles of Target and you're still managing diabetes. That's not a break. That's managing diabetes in a different location.
It's remote managing. And you did literally just describe me.
Yeah. Well, and I know I did because I do it too.
Yeah.
And I think we probably all are guilty. Are any of us ever really turning it off? Never. We don't even turn it off in our sleep.
No.
In fact, Wesley tells me, because sometimes Wesley will sit beside me in bed and like work or something or play a video game. He says that like every 10 minutes, I open my eyes, look at the sugar pixel, and go back to sleep. I don't remember it. My subconscious is managing diabetes.
So we're just elite. That's
I can do it in my sleep.
Level up.
But like, I can't even sleep in peace. I'm waking up, opening my eyes, looking at a sugar pixel to see what his number is, and then rolling back over. So even rest isn't rest.
No.
And my aura tells me that every morning when I wake up.
It'd be like, hey, bitch.
It'll be like, hey, your resting heart rate's elevated, lady. Like,
I wonder why.
Are you stressed? Like, no.
No, I'm just a pancreas.
Not at all. Stress? What is stress?
It's not in the vocab.
But it's definitely something I want to work towards, because I think if I could get to a place where even if I could truly put it down for 30 minutes, that would probably be so restorative for me. Like, it probably really would. Would it be hard? Yes. I'm not negating that. But it probably would be so restorative to get to a place where I can truly say, somebody else is handling this. He's safe. If at any point he's not safe, I'll be contacted and walk away from it, like, and do something for me. I just think it would be a really beneficial thing. I don't know.
I think it's definitely a point that we both want to get to. I think the first few times of doing it would actually be more stress than anything, because you're going to have to force yourself to not check the follow app, to not turn alerts back on, to not send a text and be like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, how's it
Just
going?
tell me the details. What's he doing in this exact moment right now? Because I saw he dropped 2 numbers.
Which is what I do.
Same.
It's what I do. I'm like, he looks like he's going to go low. And meanwhile, he's like 100 and steady. hey, do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see what I see? But it's hard not to do that when you're so used to managing all the time.
Yeah, it's like second nature. It's like literally instinct at this point.
I would love to know how many times a day I open the follow app.
There's a way to look at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hang on.
God. I'm going to be humbled.
Should we compare right now?
Let's look and see.
To be fair, I do also spread load between multiple apps. You will catch me on the Follow app, Sugarmate, and Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, I do also. So maybe we need to look at all 3.
We'll look at all 3.
How do you look at it?
So you go to screen time.
Oh, okay. App and website activity?
Yeah, yes. Okay, that's not terrible. I've only got today 23 minutes of screen time on Dexcom Follow.
Mine's 36 on Dexcom Follow.
Sweet Dreams is only 2 minutes.
Okay, here's the sad thing though. When you open the Dexcom Follow app, you're just opening it and closing it again.
I know.
You're not scrolling the Dexcom Follow app.
Last night, and to be fair, I was awake technically early this morning because I did not go to sleep until 3 a.m. And I really did be staring at that like it was going to change something. Like, you know, when you keep like walking back to the fridge and opening it up and expecting there to be like a new fresh snack in there that's going to satiate you.
Yes.
No, it's not going to happen. And just like me staring at the graph at 2:30 in the morning after I've given a correction is not going to make him drop any faster.
Oh,
but I feel like it is.
Yeah, if you just will it.
I just speak it into the universe, and it doesn't happen because diabetes.
If you could take Janelle only time for yourself, and that doesn't necessarily mean like what we were talking about, like it doesn't have to be going to Target and detaching from diabetes, but like if you could truly do something just for yourself every single day, like something that you love or that's important to you or whatever, what do you feel like it would be?
I feel like the closest that I've gotten to that so far is Pilates, which I very much enjoy. It's hard to find class times that fit with our schedule right now, since we homeschool and we spend most of our evenings at sports or extracurriculars or anything like that. I feel like it's very hard to kind of like get those schedules to line up. But I mean, even at Pilates, I'm guilty of literally like I'll get a notification. I'll ignore it until I get a notification, which I feel like is progress.
Yeah.
But like if I get like a big drop notification from Sweet Dreams or something like that, I'll immediately be sitting in the middle of class, like trying to do the workout while actively trying to text Tyler on my watch.
Yep.
Like, hey, can you deal with that? And to be fair, like, I feel I'm gonna gaslight myself here. I feel like it's somewhat warranted because I do go to very early Pilates classes some days where everybody at the house is still asleep.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like there's someone actively watching what's going on and can be like, oh shoot, there's a drop. Let me catch that early.
Yeah.
Or at least poke and see if it's accurate. Instead, the only notice that Tyler gets on those mornings is the sugar pixel when it goes off when he hits 69.
Yeah.
So it's like I do get annoyed at the situation when I have to micromanage at Pilates, but I know that like obviously that's what also kind of comes with keeping a tighter range, which is something that I know that is very important to both of us. But honestly, I think that's probably the closest I've gotten, like when we go to get our nails done, but the Follow app be open. When we go to dinner, the Follow app be open. Like I truly don't know the last time that I willingly stepped away from the house from diabetes and did not attempt to micromanage from a distance.
I feel like we're going to have to do this together. I feel like we're going to have to go to dinner together. We let ourselves see the boys' numbers until we get out of the car and we go to dinner and neither of us look at it. And we turn off alarms until we're done eating. You and I'd be scarfing down that food.
Oh, we'd be like... You ain't never seen two people eat faster.
The waitress would be like, are you guys...
They would put the food down. I'd be like, can we just get the check? Like,
can we actually just get it? We're done. We smelled it, and so we're good now.
we'll just actually take this in boxes. Can you just bring it out to us in boxes? And plot twist, we're really just going to go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get a water.
That's the loophole. We're not going out to dinner. We're just going through the drive-thru. Since about 30 seconds of not seeing their numbers.
Hey, you know what? That's growth. That's what I hear.
We've never done it before, so it's just fine.
It is.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Baby steps. So I wanted to go back and touch on something that we mentioned earlier on in the episode about kind of like the self-sacrifice and kind of like living for your child instead of living for you. Where do you think that we kind of learned that self-sacrifice equals love?
I think that's kind of motherhood in a nutshell. I think as moms, we automatically feel that way. And like as mothers, we sacrifice ourselves in lots of ways to make sure that our children are always taken care of, loved, supported in all ways, and like, you know, are willing to sacrifice ourselves for that. And unfortunately, I think having a medical needs child just amplifies the amount of sacrifice that there is available to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think it's kind of like second nature, if you will, as a mom to do that and be willing to do it. And there's just even more ongoing opportunity to self-sacrifice when your child is living with a chronic illness.
I think it's crazy that we've somehow developed this like belief that suffering equals good parenting, and the more you suffer, the better parent you are. Like, that is so crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like a societal thing.
Yeah.
Like, not even just with medical, like I said, like obviously you're a mom of a medical child, and I think it just amplifies what's already kind of the societal norm, especially for moms. Like, I don't know that that's kind of the like standard for dads as much as it is moms. Moms are expected to sacrifice and be the ones to sacrifice for their kids. So it's interesting, but I think type 1 just really amplifies it to another level. What do you feel like the mental load of type 1 diabetes steals from you?
I feel like the list of things it doesn't steal from me is quite shorter. But if we're specifically talking mental load, I think, like, honestly, a lot of the day-to-day stuff, like my brain function in general, my ability to remember tasks, even something as simple as like feel like I'm being present with my kids during the day. And I especially notice it sometimes too when we sit down in the mornings and do homeschool. I'm sitting there trying to give it my all and, you know what I mean, devote all of my attention that I have to give to them during this time. And I'm constantly just like, oh, we just ate breakfast an hour ago. I, hope he doesn't go low, or is he starting to spike? Like, I wonder if I dosed correctly, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's constantly, especially if I'm coming off of a rough diabetes night with no sleep, and it's just like it's a shot in hell, honestly.
I feel like too, just to like interrupt you for a second, the rough nights or rough days put me in fight or flight so quickly that I feel like it takes me a while to come down off of that. So I don't know if you feel that way. Like,
yeah, I think like those mornings after we've had a hard night with diabetes, whether it be like a really sticky high or just like back to back to back to back lows, and I wake up already at a loss for the day, and it's almost nearly impossible for me to make up enough of that to feel even like a semblance of a human. I don't know if you feel like that.
I do. And I especially notice it, like you were talking about, like your cognitive function and ability to like remember things and stuff like that. My big 3 kids are all in school. My oldest is in 6th grade, and then I have a 4th grader and a 2nd grader. And so I would say this is probably the first school year where all of their grades are relatively demanding. And my 6th grader is doing lots of school projects. My 4th grader is like, obviously I think 4th and 5th grade get a little bit more serious than the younger grades. My 2nd grader has had a lot of like projects and work and stuff like that, homework and things. And so one of the things that has been awful this year is that I am having such a hard time keeping up with their responsibilities for school. And actually literally just today I had to send a message to my 2nd grader's teacher because they're going on a field trip in a couple of weeks, and Wes, my husband, is going to go be a chaperone on the field trip. I was supposed to send in the field trip form with the money, and I literally was just at the school yesterday for a project that Finley was doing, that my 2nd grader was doing, and I told his teacher I will send in the form tomorrow. talking about today. And I would say around like 10 o'clock this morning, I was like, I didn't send it in. All I had to do was put it in his backpack, but I didn't remember. And you know what? I didn't sleep good last night, and I haven't slept good all week. So like I am not cognitively functioning even close to where I should be because I'm running off of like way less sleep than I really needed for the week. And I've been fighting blood sugars all day, every day, all week long because of the freaking crackers I gave him for lunch a few of the days. And so like, it's just so crappy that it takes important things too. Yeah. Like I need to be able to keep up with those things. Like I need to be able to keep up with my kids' schoolwork that's due, and some of it they can do on their own and are responsible for on their own. But the mental load of diabetes even steals not just selfish things from you. It steals like important things that you need to be keeping up with and doing as an adult. And it makes it so much harder to do those things.
Yeah, and you don't always obviously have a choice in what it does take from you. Like we were saying, obviously after a hard night or a hard week worth of nights and you wake up and you're already in fight or flight, you're running on empty essentially, and then you're still expected to get through the whole day like a normal functioning person who has slept a full 8 hours uninterrupted. And it's like, even if you wake up even if you wake up fully replenished, let's say diabetes played nice one night, their line was, you know what I mean, beautifully straight, not a single alarm in sight, and you wake up feeling replenished, guarantee you by the time your head hits that pillow, you're back on E again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
And I guarantee you that's going to be the night diabetes decides to say, hey, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
We saw you had a decent day.
Oh yeah.
Let's change that.
Let's fix that problem.
Let's fix that problem so that way you can wake up tomorrow feeling like absolute trash.
Like actual ass, actually.
All right, let's kind of flip the narrative here. I want to try to touch on like some small joys versus performative self-care. Like it doesn't always need to be like this huge ordeal or regimented routine or whatnot. So, like, I want to know, like, what's one small thing that you think you could reclaim this week?
Honestly, I find so much, like, rejuvenation in, this is going to sound so dumb, but just taking a shower at night and doing my skincare. Like, that's it. It takes me 30 minutes to do that. But sometimes after a long day, I'm like, screw it. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm climbing into bed. That's all I have left in me. But if I would just take the 30 extra minutes to take a hot shower, turn on some music that I like, shout out to Harry Styles' new album dropping next week, and do my skincare, those things benefit no one but me. And sometimes after that, turning on a show that I want in bed all by myself, it is so rejuvenating for me before bed. I heard a while back, it actually may have been my first therapist. Unfortunately, my first therapist that I had last year passed away unexpectedly. But we talked about diabetes a lot also. And then I just like had a gap where I didn't do therapy at all, and I just restarted it. But we're talking about skincare, and she was saying if you can do 5 minutes of skincare, that's something that brings you joy first thing in the morning and last thing at night, then no matter what happens in the middle of your day, you have started off the day doing something for yourself, and you've ended the day doing something for yourself. And I love that mentality of like, before anything else happens, before the day is even, touched by, I know it may not be true if like your night was rough with diabetes and you were up all night, but still like the sun comes up and the first thing you do is something for yourself. And then before you go to bed at night and close your eyes, the last thing you do is something for yourself. So like, I think that's easy enough and manageable enough to do, like 10 minutes really in the morning. If you take out the shower part, the skincare part is fast for me. And then at night, intentionally choosing to take that time for myself, it's easy enough with a big impact for me. So it's something I need to prioritize even when it's been a hard day. That's my fault. It's easy for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to take this time for myself when the day's been good. When his numbers are good, when his numbers are stable and I'm not stressed, it's easy for me to do that. It's when it's been a crappy day and I feel like I'm on level 1000 of stress to even want to do that. But I need to push myself more on it.
I also love that idea that your old therapist brought up of starting the day and ending the day like with something that is strictly for you. And honestly, I would love to try to do that as well. I feel like some days it's hard because sometimes my kids are up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
And my kids are homeschooled. Like, go the hell back to sleep. Like, who's waking you up right now? You don't have to be anywhere. I feel like sometimes in order for that to happen, like, I would have to wake up before the crack of dawn in order to make it happen. But maybe I like set a goal that I do that like 3 times a week or something like that. But I did finally find a difference between us. There aren't many. But you won't catch me dead getting into bed without that shower.
I
like,
know.
That is one thing.
I know you are.
Every night. The only time I won't do it is like if I'm like so deathly sick and I just like can't physically get myself into the shower. You can guarantee I'm gonna be squeaky clean before I pull myself into that bed.
Yeah. I go back and forth, but I find myself a lot of times taking a shower during the day because like I get the kids to school and then it's just Wells at home. And so it's easier, I think. And I'm not super tired because it's not nighttime. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's different too because like it's harder for me to like get that time away during the day because I have both of them home with me.
Yeah.
Versus nighttime, yes, I'm tired, but like even if I don't shower until 1 a.m., I'm still gonna shower. Like I
simply can't.
Leave it to the germaphobe in me. I fear. Like I just can't do it. Like I have to be clean.
I know. Do you remember when we were in Disney and we were
oh my God.
up at the party and we had like blood sugar or something? What happened that we were like
sight failures? Both Wells and Pax had a sight failure.
Yes, at the Christmas party, right?
Yes.
At Disney. And you were like, I'm gonna take a shower, and I'm like, a shower? It's 2 a.m. Wells' blood sugar is 9,000 and I will not be taking a shower.
That's actually the last thing on my mind right now.
And you know what, that was probably nasty of me. I mean, it was like we had been at the Disney parks and like, but you know what, in that moment, I could not.
You got to do what you got to do.
Bothered.
That's just unfortunately one of my things. I just can't do it.
It's your
like,
little thing.
It is my little thing, but it's like that. I guess like maybe it's because I don't view it as self-care. I view it as necessity.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
You know.
And when I talk about like taking a shower at night for myself, I'm not talking about like a shower, like an everything shower. I'm not talking about washing my hair.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm not talking about shaving. Like I'm literally talking about standing in some hot water until my skin is bright red and listening to some music.
You gotta rotate that shit around like a rotisserie
chicken, baby. I'm not like, it is not a functional shower. It is simply I'm gonna stand here in the hot water.
For your well-being shower.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, if I'm holding myself accountable, I think one small thing that I could attempt to reclaim this week is trying to get back into reading. A few years ago, I want to say it was 2024 maybe, I had read 46 books that year, which is like insane. I used to hate reading, and if my parents are listening to this, I apologize because y'all used to have to pull my teeth. Like it was like a fight to get me to like even like read like the books from school. Also, they were all boring. Sorry, I hate to say it.
Oh
like,
no, they were.
I could never find like my thing to read as a kid. Like nothing ever interested me. Like books were just boring and like it was ridiculous. And then 2024 came around and I got into reading. I actually started reading the ACOTAR series, and that's what got me back into reading. But like they always gave me and they were like, why couldn't you do this when you were a kid? Like this is ridiculous or whatnot. But in 2024 I read like 46 books. Last year I had set myself the goal of like, hey, like I don't need to like push myself this hard. It's supposed to be fun. Like I'm going to set a goal to read like 25 books. And I read 3 books last year. And I miss it. Like I genuinely love to read. Like I'll be that person that will get into bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm in bed at a decent time. I'm just going to read like a few chapters. And then I'll still be reading at 3 a.m. because I'll just get sucked up into a book. But I think I need to, even if it's just a few chapters, I need to try to work that back into my routine because I have so many books that I want to read. And I just feel like I don't have the time to read them. And also by the time I get into bed every night, I'm just, like I said, I'm on E. I'm so drained.
Yeah.
And I get like 5 sentences into a book and I'm like, actually, I can't even keep my eyes open.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard when you're that, like, I mean, diabetes makes me physically exhausted.
Yeah.
Physically, I mean, emotionally, yes, obviously, like it's stressful and stuff. It physically exhausts me. And so that's how I feel when I'm like trying to make myself take my little hot steamy shower and do my skincare. Like I'm so tired, I could literally fall asleep right that very second. And so trying to make myself stay awake to do something that isn't a necessity. It's just something I like just something for me. It doesn't benefit anybody else. It's hard.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like this conversation is important for me. And this is an important thing for me to work on, because when I look at big picture, I don't want Wells to ever feel like he has to give his entire life to diabetes. In fact, that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to teach him. And so what am I modeling to him if I'm letting diabetes consume me nonstop?
Yeah, I remember we talked about this. I don't remember what episode it was, but it's like we're trying so hard to make sure that like and burden is a terrible word, but like the burden of type 1 that is kind of falling on us right now that will eventually fall on them isn't a toxic one.
Yeah.
Like it quite literally is with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want that to be what he learns from me. And so, you know, like, and also I don't want to live my life like this. I want there to be joy in my life. I want there to be, like I said earlier, I want to look back at my motherhood journey and say, yes, I did everything I wanted to do. Like I enjoyed my children. I soaked them up. I enjoyed every minute. I don't want to look back and feel like it was consumed by diabetes. And I don't want to look back at my life and feel like my whole motherhood journey was consumed by diabetes, because that's a large chunk of my life. I mean, I'll be 32 this year, and Wells has been diagnosed for 2.5 years. So far, all of my 30s, I feel like have been consumed by diabetes, and I don't want it to be that way. And I don't want to model that to him either.
I feel the same way. I mean, I was 25 or 26 when Paxton was diagnosed. So a good half of my 20s were spent as pancreas.
Yeah.
And 30's coming up this year. So
yeah,
rip.
So let me ask you this. What do you feel like would change in your life if you were able to believe that your rest and worth were just as important as Paxton's diabetes management?
I think this is a really ironic question, because this is shocking. Something that I attempt to work on a lot in therapy is I struggle a lot with like general self-worth, and I don't prioritize myself, and I kind of just like dump any of the energy that I would put into myself into mostly my kids, like my job as a homemaker. I couldn't think of the word. House bitch. I don't know.
As Tyler's bitch.
But honestly, like diabetes does take up so much of my mental load and my time that really just kind of like does the absolute opposite of what I'm actually actively working towards, is trying to make more time for myself. So honestly, like if I actually had that belief that like I deserved to pour into me and take time for me and not feel mom guilt or just like guilt in general about it, like I think it would change literally everything. Like my marriage would be better. I would be I don't want to say better mom. I would be a happier mom.
Yeah.
I would be able to find joy in smaller things instead of just thinking that everything is always a crisis all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm really bad about that.
Me too. Everything is an emergency all the time. But I think it's, you know, diabetes, it's easy for it to put you in that place.
Yeah.
It is easy for it to feel like an emergency all the time. And then therefore you're like self-care or like taking time for yourself suffers because you constantly feel like you're in an emergency situation.
Yeah, even if it doesn't feel like an emergency, like all of the little diabetes stuff adds up throughout the day. You're like, oh shoot, like I treated 6 lows today and I finally got them down from one sticky high after all of these lows from all of the carbs that decided to hit all at once. That's my favorite. But it's like by that time, like you're just so drained from diabetes, and then you are in fight or flight.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I spend 95% of my time in fight or flight.
Does your Oura ring have that stat as well?
No, but it would say, bitch, you flying.
Bitch.
Bitch, you fighting and you flying.
Or if you're listening, you should definitely make that a ring stat on your app.
Yeah, but it does have, like, my Oura does have like stress hours basically.
Does that stay at 100?
Yeah, so it'll tell you the hours of time you spent stressed each day and the hours of time you spent restored that day. And this is a true story. I have a group message with some of my friends from high school, and one of the other friends in that group has an Oura ring, and she posted a screenshot one time of her Oura stress like data, and she was like, oh my gosh, like I have been so stressed all day, like something at work was happening, I don't know. And I'm not minimizing her stress at all in her life, but her like time spent stressed was like 3 hours, I want to say, and restored time was like, I don't know, an hour or something like that. It was low. And she was like, look how stressed I've been. She like sent a screenshot of it. And I was like, oh, I wonder what mine is. Oh, mine's like 7 hours a day stressed, like every day.
Yeah.
Every day I'm living at that level of stress that for her, she thought like 3 hours was abnormally stressed for her. And my baseline is over double that. Like literally.
What we wouldn't do to only have a day where we had 3 hours of stress.
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not minimizing her stress levels because I know everybody's lives are different and everybody has different stress. And there are people I'm sure that are more stressed than you and I are dealing with diabetes. So
100%.
I don't mean it that way, but it is interesting like to have that kind of gauge in front of you of, yeah, I don't just feel this way. Like my body is genuinely reacting to the stress in a way that my Oura Ring can pick it up.
Yeah.
Overall, I just feel like it's important for us to have an identity beyond diabetes and beyond being pancreas. Luckily, I have pancreas.
I is pancreas.
But it is important, like, for our quality of life, but also for our kids and for what we're modeling for them and their lives. Like, we don't want them to be all consumed by it. And if we don't want that for them, then we can't want that for us either.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we're showing them that care, whether it be diabetes or just their self-care in general, like it includes self-care. Like you cannot just pour yourself into one area of your life. You need to make sure you are also pouring into yourself.
Yeah, it has to be sustainable.
Yeah.
If you're listening and realizing how much of yourself you've given away, you're not broken. You've just adapted. And adapting kept your child safe.
But you don't have to disappear to be a good parent. You are allowed to rest, you are allowed to want more, and you're allowed to exist outside of diabetes care. You didn't lose yourself forever. She's still here, waiting to be remembered.